Okay, so the next issue I get to deal with, perhaps you have the same issue. Check this out. Now, I originally thought it was cold, when it was cold, that it was doing that. But here's the kicker. If I put this thing in gear, it goes into auto cruise. So it'll run to like 2,500 RPMs all by itself. So I gotta ride the brake to go slow in this thing. I do not like it. Let's see if we can demonstrate here. Check it out. Now if I slow down and come to a stop, the RPMs will drop back down. Make sure I don't hit nothing here. But when I put it in gear, there we go, let's see what happens. It's gonna behave. It's gotta behave a little bit. Alright, well this time it's not gonna go run up on me. It's creeping at 1,500. Alright. We'll have to do another demo on it because it's sort of behaving right now. Alright, one more time. See if it still does this. So I disconnected my cruise control cable just to make sure that was not an issue, which is real easy. Didn't seem to make any difference, so I hooked it back up. And I turned my cruise control off, make sure that wasn't anything to do with it. I have been led to believe, I think this has to do with my idle air control valve, so I'm going to pull the idle air control valve and clean it. Also, that high idle could be indicating that just all by itself, so that's going to be the next thing. See that? That is just weird. No, I got that glare there. Let's do that. I gotta visit. All right. Not so bad at the moment, but we gotta take care of that high idle no matter what. So that's what's up next. Okay, here in the engine compartment, there's two sensors. One is the throttle position sensor and the other one is the idle air control sensor. Idle air control valve, sorry. The easiest way is when we pull both those connectors off of there and I think pull the air box, which in my case I got disconnect clamps there because I got that fancy air box over there. So I'm going to do that first. In my case, I got to pull this off of here. Disconnect the clamp and this thing just kind of flops off of there. In my case, I had already cleaned the throttle body. You can see it's pretty clean in there. So next thing is to stick something in the throttle body so you don't drop anything in there. These, of course, you pull the little tab out and hopefully it comes out without breaking. Okay, so what I did was I got a Milwaukee T20, goes into a little 1/4-inch drive impact thing if you got one of those, but I've got a 1/4-inch socket, 1/4-inch drive socket, a little extension, a little baby 1/4-inch drive ratchet, and I'm going to reach up in here. Looks pretty simple. And pop this loose. And the other one should be probably going to be down diagonal. It's probably going to be down at the bottom. Probably down there. Pretty sure. I'm going to climb up here and take both hands to do this, so stand by. Okay, I actually went for the, I don't know if that's 12-inch extension, so I can go out here with it. Otherwise you're bouncing up in there. And like I said, that other fastener is diagonally opposite the top one. So, alright, just gonna take a couple hands. Hold on. Alright, I got those loose, but I'm gonna use my magnet. The top one I was able to maneuver out of there, but I'm probably gonna have to hold that in place from the side with the magnet and put the screw tip on it to put it back in. Hopefully we'll be able to show that. Hopefully that won't go anywhere. Okay. Yuck. It's in there with a nice O-ring. I'm going to pop the O-ring off. I don't lose it. It's a silicone O-ring, so it's in good shape. That looks terrible. Yuck. Well, not sure what kind of mechanism in there. I'm going to clean that up really good. If that doesn't do it, I'm going to probably go ahead and get a new one just to eliminate it. Anything, any kind of problems on this thing, anything is suspect. It's 338,000 miles. You know, if in doubt. I'm going to try that. See much in there. There's a hole. Yeah. Alright. Let's see what we can do with some carburetor cleaner. I got a can of the, that broke off. Hopefully it's just a nozzle. I have another nozzle over here. I got a regular can of carburetor cleaner. The straws just come out of. I wipe that down with my rag here. Let's see what we can do. Okay, well, holding it mostly up here, because probably don't want to get carburetor cleaner up inside whatever that is, an electromagnet or something. So I just kind of mostly clean this off, this stopper here. But I can't really push it in, pull it out. Not sure if it's supposed to. So I'm using my little Scotch Brite here. I kind of reached in there. I have a plastic version of a wire brush somewhere, but of course when I need it I can't find it. So I just squirted up. You can see all the crap that came out of there. Squirted it up inside there and used my rag on it. Cleaned it up. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on that O-ring and pop this thing back in. We'll see what happens. If not, I'll grab a new one tomorrow. Now I did squirt a little bit of carburetor cleaner up in there in the port. But since I did that, I'm gonna give that 5 or 10 minutes to make sure all that carburetor cleaner is dried out in there. Same thing when I clean the throttle body. I already did that, but I'll squirt all around in there, clean all the sides, then you hold it open so you can squirt and scrub off the bottom. Oh, look at that. Here's my cruise control. It just pops on there. It's supposed to have a clamping feature. Anyway, it just pops right on there. It may have just popped off when I opened the throttle on it. Anyway, so anytime you clean your throttle body or whatever, if you open it up and you're cleaning the bottom side and everything, make sure you kind of pin that thing open, stick something in there and hold the butterfly open to let all that carburetor cleaner you sprayed in there dry out, and give it a while to dry out. It dries pretty quick, but you don't want a big loop of carburetor cleaner in there when you start it up. Cause weird firings. So anyway, O-ring sits on this little shelf. These orange ones are silicone, so that basically lasts forever. But I don't think this valve will last forever. So, and you can see the position how that goes in there. It goes in there like that. And I put it back in there shortly. To be continued shortly. Okay, the valve, you just kind of set it down and pop it in there. And I'm putting a screw on the tip of that and carefully putting it up in there. Get it started by hand. Now, the tape's coming off, so the bottom is going to be trickier. Trickier. So it's gonna go in there, but I need it to hold on. So what I might do is put it like that. Set that down, or not. Probably going to set it down in there like that. Come in from the outside, so I'll be holding that down there. Come in from the outside, grab that, push the whole thing up into the hole, and try to get it in there like that. Because if I just do it like this, just like that, it's gonna fall off. The other thing, if it's really tricky and you're really scared of it going anywhere, you can get some spray glue, like some Super 77 contact adhesive. Literally just spray a little bit on the screw, stick it right on your bit, and just let it glue right to that sucker, and that'll keep it right there. We have a magnetic tip. This is not magnetic. Done before, where you can, if you got room, you can do that, and that essentially makes the tip magnetic-ish. But I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try putting a screw in there, holding that down. I gotta climb up to do it, so I don't know if I can get it where you can see that or not. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. I don't know if I can. That's kind of in the way. All I want to do is just drop my camera. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, that's not working too good. Alright, I'm just going to have to try to put it in there and hope it goes in. If not, I got my little magnet there. Yeah, that's not going to really show you anything. Dang it. I can't see what I'm doing. This is not really working. Stand by. Okay, so I was able to do that. If you can see, down there's the screw. You get a magnet up, it doesn't stick to aluminum. So I was able to get it started. I can turn it now here. Snug that one up. I'm on top of my throttle and my cable. Since that's an O-ring, you don't really have to tighten this up very much. You just got to snug it down. Same with the bottom. All right. Should be it. Connector there. Connector there. So the only two tests is to put it back in running configuration. So I'm going to clean just that up just a little bit. That's some stuff. Alright, by way of confession, sort of, I'm just going to show you this. Because I've seen it somewhere. There's actually a nut that's supposed to go on the back of this thing right here. But you know, I've never had one on here in, I don't know, what has it been? Jeez. I don't know, 15, 16, 18 years. So I'm gonna say if you like lose that or something, I wouldn't worry about it. This thing has a clamp that hooks around the front here. Once you get that on there, it pretty much sits right there. Even with the stock air cleaner, it's pretty much not going anywhere. So I just figured I'd mention that. Well, you know, might as well just do a continuous shot here. Put my air box back on. Put my cruise control cable back on, which is supposed to like lock in place, but mine doesn't have anything like that. So if you, anytime you open the throttle up here, make sure that you put your cruise control cable back on there. It just slides over that little stud. There's your throttle, your cruise control cable, cruise control box. Throttle, go down to the pedal. Let's light this thing off and see. A beautiful interior in there now. Whew. See if it makes any difference in my idle. Oops. Let's see, can you see that? Oh, it's still jumping up there. Well, I'm going to say that made no difference whatsoever. Alright, just be sure, I think I'm going to go ahead and buy another one of those and just make sure that is not the issue. And I guess we'll go from there. Alright, this is just a confirmation. The cleaned idle air control valve has actually gotten worse results. Sorry about the stinking glare. The sun's behind me. I guess it just, I cannot get that. So generally, you leave this thing run for a couple minutes. You know, the idle should drop down to about 800 RPMs. I have the cruise control off, just to eliminate that from any problems. I'm gonna give this just a wee bit to warm up. Let's see if that thing does anything. But now, see, now it's idling at 1500 RPMs. I'm hoping that since I messed with that and it got worse, that's an indication that that is the problem. I went ahead and bought a throttle position sensor too, because as I was saying, when you get into high mileage, sensors are the things that set off the check engine light. It's not telling you that there's a problem mechanically with the engine. Generally, it's telling you that there's a sensor problem and the engine needs all the sensors to run properly. Fortunately, in my case, I don't have any oxygen sensors, so my check engine light does not go away, so I got it covered up. Alright, well, 1400 RPMs. Here's the really pain in the butt part. Watch this. This is with my foot off the gas. We're just going to go screaming down the road. So in this case, and then when you stop, it comes back down. It's really weird. It's like it's hooked into the transmission somehow, and we're back to 1400 RPM. So let's go ahead and get us a new part in there. Okay, well, these babies ain't cheap. 78 bucks, but I got some speed. Oh, I didn't have any speed perks on this one. They had 15% off over 50 bucks, so I got a 15% discount. Now I've got $10 or $15 in speed perks if you're not aware of speed perks. Discount auto parts, excuse me, advanced auto parts. You sign up for it. I don't know what information they're getting out of me, but every 100 bucks you get like $5 or $10 discount code or whatever it is, so it's worth it. So you get a new part. Comes with a new silicone gasket. Interesting enough, come in here, put it on my finger. So I looked at it and I was wondering, okay, maybe there's an issue with it not moving up and back, but back and forth, but no, it does not move either. You can turn them a little bit, but that's it. This has got a nice smooth plastic part, where the other one's kind of like hard rubber. But form, fit, and function, and I don't know if you noticed on there, it says limited lifetime warranty, so chances are another 100,000 miles or something, and I could just do it for fun. Yeah, Sundays bikers love to run out here in their little rice burners, the rice rockets. Anyway, so same procedure as last time. I'm going to pull my dipstick and just get a little bit of oil on this thing. I'm going to put it on. Trace. Yeah, we'll play third time's a charm. Keep getting this thing going out of focus out in the sun, so let's try it in here. Alright, got a new part. 78 bucks at Advance. Get a 15% discount. They had a discount for everything over 50 bucks. Normally I use my speed perks, so speed perks is a little discount code you get every $100 or so. Limited lifetime replacement. Thought maybe this thing was a little different, like maybe it was would go in and out, but just like the old one, it's the same. It's got like a smooth hard plastic coating, or I guess that's the same as the other one. Comes with the little silicone O-ring. I'm gonna pull my dipstick and get a little bit of oil on there. stick it on there. Tools of the trade. Hopefully this is not going to go out of focus. Got my little magnet again, 1/4 inch drive, my little setup with my T20 bit long extension so I can reach in there just like I did the other one. In case all I got to do is pull this back off again, pull this thing out. Like I said, there's a little hook under there. I don't have that nut in there, so this is pop right off. I'll stick a rag in there, pop the 2 connectors, get this thing off. 5 minutes I'll have it back in there, and then we'll fire it up. Oh, this thing's driving me crazy. So then we'll fire it up. I'm not sure how much of that you got. Well, hopefully you got enough of it before it went on me. Alright, we'll do that in 5 minutes. I'll be done here. And we'll fire it up and see what happens. Alright, there's the old one versus the new one. Definitely a difference. You can see how far sticking out this one is. So hopefully that's meaning that there's a definite problem with that. So let's pop in the new one and find out. Hopefully that's going to be it. Our recommendation is a light because you want to be able to see down to that other screw when you stick that screw attached to your T20. There's a pretty much straight shot from in here. There's nothing to run into, so if you get it lined up you can get it in there without knocking the screw off, but you need to be able to see that other hole down there when you put it in. And no joke there. Oh, it's tempting. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and actually put this thing back together so that it's in its accurate configuration and fire it up. Okay, well, that's about the fastest operation I've ever done. I don't think it's been 10 minutes since I started this whole thing, so what happens now? How's that? It's even worse. Well, that's really interesting. How is it possible it got worse? There's no excuse for that. Well, I guess we're going to try the throttle position sensor. Wow, that's terrible. Even as that comes down, that's not going to get to 800 RPMs. Wow. Unbelievable. Back to its 1400. I don't know what the deal. Maybe it's got to learn. Maybe there's some learning involved, but it's still 1400 RPMs. Now, if it was just a high idle, I would think maybe got a vacuum leak somewhere, but let's see what happens when I put it in gear. See that? Definitely a problem. Alright, let's try the throttle position sensor now. Alright, throttle position sensor, 45 bucks basically, with the discount I got as well. On top of that, there's a whole lot to this thing. Comes with its gasket. It's going to be the same procedure, same tools. Oops. Need my rag. Pump that up. This swell, my camera's losing its mind, going out of focus all the time. Great. I can do about 2 minutes. So anyway, it's right there. It's going to be the same thing. Both positions. Swap that out. Same way. Okay, TPS throttle position sensor is off. And you can see if you move the throttle, it turns that shaft. Coincides with that flat. Just watch that O-ring. It just sits in that little groove, but I'm not sure it really sticks in it if it's just laying there. So you got to make sure you line that up. It's going to go at a little weird angle. And then you may have to turn a little bit to get it to go to the screw holes, but I don't know. Not really. Just pops on in there. Ah, focus. Alright, top screw's piece cake. The bottom I actually had to use. I think I showed you the screw was attached, stuck on here. I had to literally lower, and of course I'm doing it from the top, so I got easier access when I climb up there. You lower that in so the screw is laying across here. Then you reach in the socket, the T20, and line it up carefully with the where the light's not flashing. Why is it flashing? Huh, interesting. And you need a light, of course, to see, and then you line it up and gently put it in the hole there. Still not going to make the joke. Right here, there's a little hole where that lines up, but I mean, it's really, you can't really misalign it because of the screw holes there. So let's tighten that sucker up and see what happens. And before I start this, I'd just like to say, since it's got so much high mileage, I don't mind replacing these anyway. Unfortunately, these appear to be OEM, what originally came on it. So this one says AC, original parts. The replacements, of course, are made in China. So I'm not thrilled with putting these Chinese things on here. Both of them made in China, but they're lifetime warranty, so if I can identify that they're a problem, and here we go, out of focus again, I will simply replace them under warranty. Man, this focus thing is really going to cramp my style. Well, that was definitely an improvement. Question is, will it come down from there? See how long this thing goes out of focus this time. Well, it's better than it was a minute ago. You know, I'm just gonna hold here and see if it'll drop. I'll give it a minute or two and come back. I don't know what's gonna happen. I would think it would have come down already though. Okay, big test. I'm gonna go drive it around in just a couple of minutes. Let's see what happens when I put it in gear now. Wow, that's definitely an improvement. Right now I have to say the throttle position sensor appeared to be the worst culprit. Maybe it's got to relearn something. Sure would like to see that idle come down though. Oh yeah, much better. I think that's what cured my big issue. Now I don't like my idle being that high, but you know, that may be, I may have another vacuum leak somewhere. Well, let's go pop this around since it's going to go to auto blur. I'll be right back. Alrighty then, looks like the only issue I got left is that 1200 RPM idle. So I'm gonna go search and see if I can find a vacuum leak somewhere with a can of carburetor cleaner. I'll just spray it all over the place and see what happens. If I can get a raise in RPMs, that'll show me where it's leaking. So that ridiculous surge of RPM looks like throttle position sensor, so I will write this up appropriately. And even though all this long drawn out stuff about replacing everything, you know what, at least somebody can see what I did before I found the problem. Let me go see if I can find a vacuum leak now. Good luck.